Right now at 5, a fatal crash in Greene County, Missouri takes the life of a Pleasant Hope, Missouri man.
We are watching a very nice day for us today and incoming thunderstorm chances as we head into our Tuesday. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And a vacant house in Joplin deals with a fire for a second time.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had our stormy chances last week. Got a break this weekend, a very pleasant weekend, and now we're watching additional severe storm chances as we head into our Tuesday. So we've been talking about Tuesday for the last several days now as the Storm Prediction Center, the folks down in Norman, they've been looking at this. They've been talking about the severe threat for Tuesday, and the severe threat continues for Tuesday. We've got maps that we're going to show you that do talk about this severe threat. Now we do have a slight possibility, maybe an afternoon, late morning shower, possibly a thunderstorm. This is extremely isolated. The majority of us aren't going to see anything. We got a pretty pleasant day for us. Tomorrow, we do have an elevated risk for this yellow zone. Now, this is actually an enhanced risk, just clipping the southeastern corner of our area. The threat for Tuesday looks to be 2 parts, at least in the latest data that we've been looking at. So let's talk about those 2 parts. One of them we're a little more confident about happening than the other, but the first part is where our greatest severe threat would appear to be initially as we head into Tuesday afternoon. So we get about 2-3 o'clock, we're watching the possibility of a few thunderstorms beginning to develop across the area. If that does happen, these would have the potential to be supercell storms. They would be scattered, they'd be by themselves, and that's where our greatest severe threat would possibly come from, is from any of these storms that get going as we head into tomorrow afternoon and into the early evening hours. Now about 5-6 o'clock at the latest, those storms are out of here. They're going to race off to the east-northeast pretty quickly. The second round, which we're a little more confident in taking place, is the development of a squall line out to our west. If this does take place, this will be late Tuesday night into very early Wednesday morning, and this is where another round of severe weather is possible. The greatest risk with the squall line would be damaging winds and hail, but an isolated tornado or two couldn't be ruled out with that. So this would roll through, as you see, this is 1 o'clock. Here comes that squall line rolling through, and by about 3:30, 4 a.m., it is out of here, but that's 2 potential rounds of severe weather as we head into Tuesday and early Wednesday morning that we're keeping an eye on. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. Same at US 69 400, just south of Pittsburgh. Let's talk our current conditions real quick and what we're going to do today. We're at 59 in Joplin, south-southeast breeze at 11, winds gusting to 22. And we'll have some gusty winds as we head through today. 55 Iola, Fort Scott, 59 Miami, 57 Neosho, 58 in Carthage. As you get your day started, winds gusting 20-30 miles an hour, near 70 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, about 20 degrees above average, mostly clear skies. Temperatures going into the lower 80s. And again, holding on to those 20-30 mile an hour wind gusts. We'll take another look at your forecast. I'll keep an eye on those Tuesday storms for you as well. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A 2-vehicle crash in Greene County over the weekend takes a life. The crash occurred Saturday night just after 10 on Route H near Farm Road, 6 miles north of Springfield. Authorities say a 2006 GMC Sierra and a 2011 Ford Edge struck each other head-on. The driver of the Ford Edge, John Smith of Pleasant Hope, Missouri, was pronounced deceased at Mercy Hospital. Well, a vacant house in Joplin goes up in flames for a second time just before 6:45 Sunday night. Reports of flames visible from a residence at 1309 South Jackson alerted Joplin Emergency 911. Authorities say no one was located inside the structure. This is the second time in the last couple of months that this particular house has burned. For more on this fire or the first fire at this residence, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. 3 people were killed and 3 others injured after a shooting at a southwest Oklahoma City bar. Oklahoma City police said 3 people were killed on the scene of Newcastle Road. Another victim was transported to a hospital in critical condition. 2 others were taken with non-life-threatening injuries. After originally reporting a person in custody, Oklahoma City police now say no one is in custody and authorities are searching for a suspect.
When they arrived here, they found 3 victims inside the bar that were shot. Those 3 victims were pronounced dead here at the scene. Another victim was transported to a hospital in critical condition, and 2 others were transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening wounds.
Police say they have no suspect information at this time. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Royals take on the Twins in hopes that they can at least win 1 game and not get swept. Plus, a girl honors a friend by starting a positivity movement in her school. And a classic myth about drinking is debunked. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Pitt State Gorillas have been red hot this season, but they've been struggling this past week. They had a chance to bounce back in their series finale against Central Oklahoma. Earlier yesterday afternoon, Pitt State did just that. The Gorillas win the series over the Broncos by winning yesterday's game 9-5. Cade Clemens was in the spotlight by going 2 for 4, and both of his hits were home runs. He also had 4 RBIs. The Gorillas currently sit in 3rd place in the MIAA standings after their win. Pitt State will be on the road once again next week for some non-conference action when they face Drury this Tuesday. Well, the Missouri Southern Lions have been on an 8-game winning streak, but yesterday that streak was snapped. After winning their first 2 games of the series, they failed to win their series finale against Fort Hays State, losing yesterday's game 7-4. However, Tyler Ferguson had a nice day, going 3 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Lions will be in Kansas City on Tuesday at a neutral site where they will take on Missouri Western at the MLB Youth Urban Academy. First game of the season Saturday over the Toronto Blue Jays. The opening weekend series between these 2 teams has been very high scoring. That was the case once again yesterday in the series finale. Beautiful Sunday afternoon at Busch Stadium. First pitch of the inning, Brendan Donovan says, let's not waste any time. We're getting this party started. Leadoff homer into the bullpen, 1-0 Redbirds. At bat next is Alec Burleson. Says it's my turn. Just barely clears the wall, but it still counts. Makes it 2-0 St. Louis. Later in the inning, same score, Nolan Gorman at the plate. And that's what happens to hanging breaking balls. Ends up 15 rows deep, just as we see here. It is now 4-0 Cardinals in the first inning. On to the third. St. Louis up 5-3. Nolan Gorman wants to take Chris Bassett deep a second time. His second homer of the game for a 2-run bomb. Cardinals take care of business, winning 9-4. St. Louis also takes the series over Toronto. Let's take a look at Kansas City. Royals trying to avoid the sweep. First inning, 1-0 Twins. Edward Olivares crushes that for his first homer and the Royals' first run of the 2023 season. Tied at 1. Now going in the 6th inning, Twins up 2-1. Joey Gallo usually has trouble beating the shift, but that's one way to beat it. That ball is long gone. 3-1 Twins. 7th inning, same score. Gallo again for his second home run. That one's headed to Souvenir City. It's a 3-run jack, makes it 6-1 Twins. 8th inning, Twins leading 6-3. Larnach lines it off the Jose Cuaz. Carlos Correa scores. Twins win 7-4 and complete the sweep of the Royals. Well, the NCAA tournament is wrapping up after a great Final Four weekend. Today is the championship game between San Diego State and UConn. Just like we all predicted, San Diego State is looking for their first ever national championship, while the UConn Huskies, on the other hand, are looking to win their 3rd national championship with their 3rd different head coach. It's the first ever championship game between a 4 and 5 seed. Both coaches are excited for this opportunity.
We're just proud to be moving on, representing San Diego State University in the city of San Diego in the championship game on Monday night. We're looking forward to it.
At this point, so yeah, I think it's exciting to share the court with a team that we mirror each other. I think in a lot of ways.
Still to come, a former star Paralympic is denied parole. And we're going to take another look at those incoming thunderstorm chances when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Watching our severe threat as we head into Tuesday. Now today, there's the possibility of a stray thunderstorm or two, but for the most part, we're going to remain dry. We really aren't expected to see much. Tomorrow, though, a different story as we've got an elevated risk for a good chunk of the area as we head into our Tuesday. There's even an enhanced risk clipping our southeastern counties, and we're continuing to watch this. And we've been talking about Tuesday for the last several days because model trends have been showing this severe weather situation as we head into our Tuesday. We're still keeping a very close eye on it. All severe hazards do appear possible with the storms we get. It's just a question of exactly how it's going to unfold. Now, right now, it's looking that there's going to be two possible scenarios, or two actual events. One, as we head into early afternoon, about 3 to 5 p.m., we could see supercell development across the region. So supercells, of course, they would be scattered. Not everybody would see one, but that's going to be our best opportunity for the strongest storms. The most severe storm possibility would be as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours if we do see these supercells develop. There's not a ton of confidence on that yet, but that's one of the possible rounds of severe weather. Now that clears out of here after about 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. Then later in the night, a squall line is expected to develop out to the west. There's a little more higher confidence on this squall line developing late into Tuesday night. If this happens, now all severe hazards would be possible, but the greatest risk at this point would be wind and hail. And this will start rolling into our area after midnight and carry on, racing off quickly to the east-southeast and be right out of here by about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So those are two rounds of severe weather that we're keeping an eye on. Now as for today, MoDOT camera looks good at I-44 and range line. Same with the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. 7th and range line, you can see the moon off to the far side there. 59, clear skies. South-southeast breeze at 11, gusting to 22. And wind gusts are going to be a thing again today, but not like what we saw last week. 55, Iola, Fort Scott, Parsons, Pittsburgh. 58, Chitopa, 59, Miami, 57, Neosho, and approaching 60 in Carthage. So we get our day started. It'll be partly cloudy. Temperatures warming in near 70 by late morning. Wind gusts 20, 30 miles an hour. That'll carry on through the afternoon. Highs well above normal as we see mostly clear skies reaching into the lower 80s. And as we head into this evening, we're back down to about 61, but we are slow to cool. Winds will let up a little bit, and we'll have those mostly clear skies. As we look beyond today, we got those severe thunderstorm chances tomorrow, 82, and it gets chilly after that for a bit, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the upcoming weekend. But as you can see, we stay dry and we stay a bit calmer for the next several days once we get through tomorrow's storms. Students at a school in Phoenix, Arizona have worked for months to inspire positive messages to their classmates. This happened after a 6th grader's friend died by suicide last year. She was motivated to take action so others might not suffer the same fate. Colleen Sikora has the details.
In the midst of the everyday.
So the courtyard is right over there.
Keely Lotz, a 6th grader at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, wanted color, inspiration.
I want to make sure that everybody feels safe here.
Positivity. Here.
Because I knew that's where a lot of people went to cry.
Keely, as part of a service project as an ambassador for the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, searching for the right words alongside art club students.
We all sat around and thought of phrases that might help us and other people.
That could make a difference.
That was my favorite one.
Painting them.
Always remember, you matter, you belong here, you're doing great, and you can do anything.
On the wall.
It'll get better, don't give up.
And on the stalls.
And it's in the boys' and the girls' bathroom.
I feel like being able to see positive images, like just when you're going to the bathroom, like it'll really help kids feel better about themselves.
Hoping to help with prevention.
I lost my friend Kylia in May. It was heartbreaking and it was all over the pageant community. We did the NAMI walk in her name.
Kylia died by suicide.
I didn't know why, and I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't happen again.
It's change.
It has had the impact that it was intended for.
Jessica Epax, the principal here, has noticed.
The positive self-talk, the positive phrases to be uplifting, it's happening. We get to see it in our kids, and that's been the biggest reward of all.
Believing what's here.
I feel like if we make that a safe space for them, I feel like everything else after that will kind of become easy.
Is changing the voice students hear in their heads every day.
I just want to make sure that kids know that it's going to be okay.
Students say they hope the death of Kylea will continue to inspire change now and in the future. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How were you kind to someone or yourself recently? Did you encourage them? Send them a kind note? Did something kind for them? Volunteered yourself? Or were you kind to yourself? Would you share the kindness you received? Or maybe you did many of these things, or maybe you haven't done any of these things yet. Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, unsettling news for those who enjoy drinking alcohol. A new study found that drinking moderate amounts of alcohol every day does not, as once thought, protect against death from heart disease, nor does it contribute to a longer life. The study published Friday in JAMA Network Open examined existing research on the health and drinking habits of nearly 5 million people, found that even drinking relatively low levels of alcohol increased the risk of death. That's less than 1 ounce a day for women and about 1.5 ounces per day for men. It's one of the largest studies to debunk the widely held belief that moderate drinking of wine or other alcoholic beverages is good for you. You've heard of sleep conditions like insomnia and narcolepsy, but there's a less common malady that is not talked about as much. It's called idiopathic hypersomnia, and a person suffering from it is extremely tired during the day despite getting enough sleep. Mandy Gaither goes over the symptoms and the ways to treat it.
It can make a person feel like no amount of sleep is ever enough. Idiopathic hypersomnia can take its toll on every aspect of life.
It's hard to have a job when you're needing to sleep 10 to 12 hours a day. There's social isolation, there's increased incidence of depression. We know that people who sleep excessively probably don't live as long. They have more health problems in general.
Sleep physician Dr. Louis Kazagla says those suffering from this sleep condition are exhausted when they should be awake and alert.
The two most common complaints are sleep that's not refreshing. So you get a full night of sleep and you're still waking up feeling tired or groggy, and then sleeping way more than normal.
Kazagla says the first thing to do is simply make sure a person's getting sufficient sleep and that it's at an appropriate time. The next step is seeing if other sleep disorders are at play.
Things like restless legs or obstructive sleep apnea are much more common than other conditions like narcolepsy or idiopathic hypersomnia.
Once any other sleep disorders have been treated, Kazagla says medication can help manage the sleepiness.
In the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of research in this department, and we're really starting to see some advances.
The doctor says as of 2021, there's new medicine on the market to help with idiopathic hypersomnia. And the Cleveland Clinic is also conducting a clinical trial of another medication that may help manage symptoms. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a very warm day again today and even tomorrow, and we're watching storm chances tomorrow. We'll talk about all that when we come back.
Right now at 5:30. Students at Pitt State lend a helping hand to the community.
We've got ourselves a very warm day again today and some thunderstorm chances tomorrow. We'll talk about all that coming up.
Members of the Joplin community gather to not only support each other, but protect legislation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:28. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had a very pleasant weekend. A little bit breezy on Saturday, but otherwise it's not been too bad. We are still well above average today and tomorrow, but we're watching thunderstorm chances as we head into tomorrow. Now, there's a very low-end shot of a stray thunderstorm or two today. I think for the most part we are going to be dry, we're going to be pleasant, we're going to be breezy. It's tomorrow. We have this elevated risk for the yellow shaded area, which is a good chunk of the viewing area, and then just clipping the southeastern part of our viewing area is an enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow. Now, there are two expected events that are going to unfold tomorrow. Now, the first one, the confidence level is not nearly as high, but we're looking at the possibility as we head in about 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow of some supercell thunderstorms developing. So these would be scattered. Not everybody would get something, but these storms as supercells would have the best possibility of bringing all severe hazards. So we're talking the possibility of large hail, strong damaging winds, and the possibility of a tornado or two across the area. We're watching this closely, but again, the confidence level on the supercell situation is somewhat low at this point. Higher confidence exists, though, with a squall line developing out to our west late Tuesday night and then rolling through our area around midnight or so, and it will do so quickly as it shifts off to the east, but that's going to be another possibility for all severe hazards, but with wind and hail being the primary risks as we head into the overnight hours through about 5 a.m. on Wednesday. MoDOT camera looks good so far, same with the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh. Let's take a quick look at our current conditions. We got those clear skies, mild 59, south-southeast breeze at 11, gusting to 22. We're going to see wind gusts 20, 30 miles an hour today. We're at 55 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, 57 Parsons, 59 Miami, 57 Neosho, and 58 in Carthage. As we get our day started, we're going to be warm again, breezy, partly cloudy, near 70 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, temperatures pushing well above normal, lower 80s, mostly clear skies, and still some gusty winds. We'll talk more about that forecast and more about those storm chances here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, students at Pitt State lend a helping hand to the community over the weekend. Pitt State's Student Government Association held its annual community cleanup. For the event, students cleaned up more than 50 homes. The cleanup included raking leaves, washing windows, and planting flowers.
Our volunteers are going out there, they're working real hard. They're working real hard on campus anyway, and to see them do it in the community is awesome. It really looks great for our campus, that's for sure.
Cleanup had 450 volunteers. Higher Power Garage held a teen auto maintenance class over the weekend. The local garage teaches teenagers how to properly maintain their vehicles and why it is so important to do so. Teenagers also had the opportunity to learn how to change a tire and what to do in an emergency situation.
We've been here 3 years now, and we found in that 3 years that a lot of the cars we're seeing are really lacking in the maintenance. And so we got looking into that, and we've seen where a lot of our clients were single parent families.
The garage hosts the event once a month. Well, members of the Joplin community gathered to protest proposed legislation and show support for each other. KOAM's Carrie Worthen was there and has more on this story.
So we're basically here to show our community that.
Sorry about that. Well, organizers created a barcode for participants to scan and electronically sign their petition with. This morning, we are discussing being kind to not only others, but yourself as well.
Yeah, in the midst of the everyday, Keely Lotz, a 6th grader at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, wanted color and inspiration. Keely is part of a service project as an ambassador for the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, searching for the right words alongside art club students that could make a difference, painting them on the walls and on bathroom stalls.
Now, hoping to help with prevention, Keely lost her friend Kylia to suicide. It's had an impact, and even the principal has noticed, saying that it is helping change the voice students hear in their heads every day.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How were you kind to someone, or maybe even yourself, here recently? We got a number of options for you. So far, 25% of you say that you have not been kind to yourself or someone, so we got to fix that. Another 25% of you say it's through encouraging someone. Another 25% for you've done something nice, and another 25% of you saying that you have done all of the options. So you got to make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, take part in discussion on our Facebook page. So always opportunities to be kind to someone, and you just got to take that. And you've got to also remember to be kind to yourself, really.
Very true. Yes.
It all
Don't
starts.
forget.
It starts within. You know, the kindness toward yourself makes it easier for you to be kind to someone else. That's what they say. You got to love yourself before you love others.
great advice on this Monday morning.
It's a Monday. We need a good way to start Monday, and there's no better way to start it than a little, kindness, a little encouragement. So just remember, you're doing great out there. Yeah. Even if you don't think so, even though it's Monday, you're still doing great out there.
Yeah, if you've got the Monday blues, just try to turn them around and make those blues pretty.
And today's a great day to try and be kind and everything because it's so warm, it's so nice. And we do have those storm chances that we're tracking as we head into tomorrow as well. So we'll talk more about that here in a few more minutes.
That sounds good. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we meet some adorable elementary school kids who are learning a little something about news broadcasting.
Plus, 2 fugitives from Washington State have been arrested in Mexico. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, inside the A.B. McConnell Soul Newman House. Now, here's a fun fact about this house. Normally, it's easier to have one name on the house, but the reason this house has two, in case you wondered, is because of the two influential men who lived here, an author and a mercantile company president. We're going to be taking you on a tour throughout the house as the morning progresses. Until then, we'll be right back. Topping World Watch, at least 35 people are dead after they fell into an intricate well at a Hindu temple in central India. Crowds had gathered at the temple for a religious occasion. Officials say the floor covering of the step well, which has stairs leading down to the water, collapsed under all the weight. More than a dozen people were injured. Authorities in Ukraine say 6 civilians were killed and 8 others injured when Russia shelled the city of Kostantinivka in the Donetsk region on Sunday morning. Ukraine's national police released footage that it says shows the aftermath of the strike on the residential area, with bodies on the ground and severe damage to apartment buildings. Since Russia invaded Ukraine more than a year ago, the war has left entire cities destroyed. Authorities estimate tens of thousands of people have been killed. The area is west of Bakhmut, which has been the epicenter of the fighting for at least 8 months as Russian forces try to take control of the city. Well, the Tate brothers are moving to house arrest in Romania. A Romanian court has ordered that controversial internet influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate be moved out of jail, placed under house arrest. Tate brothers have been in detention in Romania since December of 2022, suspected of organized crime, human trafficking, and rape. Neither have been formally charged yet. And an explosion rips through a Russian cafe, killing a prominent Russian military blogger. Vladimir Tatarsky, who supported the fighting in Ukraine, died in the blast at the street food bar No. 1 Cafe in St. Petersburg on Sunday. At least 25 others were injured. Russian media reports Tatarsky was holding a public discussion on patriotism when a woman gave him a box containing a statue that apparently exploded. Tatarsky had filed regular reports from Ukraine as well as the Kremlin. Well, 2 fugitives from Washington State have been arrested in Mexico, and that's according to U.S. Marshal Service. 34-year-old Edgar Salvador Casian Garcia and his girlfriend, 38-year-old Araceli Medina, were taken into custody last week. They had been on the agency's top 15 most wanted fugitives list. The couple is charged with aggravated murder, 4 counts of child rape, and child assault. Criminal charges come after 2 of Casian Garcia's daughters, ages 3 and 8 years old, were found abandoned in Tijuana in late 2020. Authorities believe the couple was sex trafficking the girls, as both showed signs of severe physical and sexual abuse. The body of the girl's 7-year-old brother, who authorities say was likely tortured to death, was found in rural Washington in early 2022. 5 children were with the couple when they were arrested. All of them had been listed as missing and endangered. They've been returned to the U.S. and placed in protective custody. Former Paralympic runner Oscar Pistorius is denied parole on Friday. The board ruling he has not served enough time in prison for killing his girlfriend back in 2013. Pistorius was sentenced to 13 years and 5 months for shooting 29-year-old Reva Steenkamp. His high-profile trial ended in 2017 after prosecutors appealed to elevate his guilty conviction from culpable homicide to murder. Pistorius now is seeking earlier release 10 years after Steenkamp's death. Steenkamp's parents say they miss their daughter and hope justice continues to prevail. The parole board says Pistorius can apply for early release again in 2024. Well, ChatGPT is now banned in one European country. The artificial intelligence software, which has gained recent popularity, is now temporarily banned in Italy. This comes after a data breach of users' conversations about subscriber payments. The country's government will soon investigate whether the software violated European Union data protection rules. That's according to an Italian governmental privacy watchdog. Italy is the first nation to halt its use. Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
We've got ourselves a pretty pleasant day today, but tomorrow is going to be a different story. There is the possibility of an isolated storm or two later today, but I honestly think we're not really going to see much. We should remain dry. We're going to stay warm and breezy. We'll talk about today in a moment, but tomorrow, we have been talking about Tuesday for the last several days, and now we're almost there. You see, we've got the elevated risk for a good chunk of our area, and we even have an enhanced risk clipping the southeastern part of our area as well. What's looking likely to happen is the possibility of two different rounds of severe weather. Now, the first round could come between about 2 and 5 p.m. as we head through our Tuesday. If we see this first round, there's lower confidence on this first round, but it's still a possibility. We could see some supercells developing. So the thing is, not everybody would see a storm. With supercells, they're scattered. The problem is supercells by themselves have the ability to produce all severe hazards and can get pretty nasty. So that's one round that we've got to keep an eye on. Again, that runs through from about 2 to 5, where we have that window for some supercell thunderstorms. Now, as you see, temperatures still mild as we head later into our Tuesday. This is the second round, and there's more confidence on this second round of a squall line forming out to our west. Now, this one could potentially have all severe hazards as well, but the greatest risk with this squall line, at least right now, is damaging winds and large hail. This is about 11 o'clock. It starts rolling into our area, and about 5 a.m. it is out of here. By 1, most of southeast Kansas, and we get into southwest Missouri between about 2 and 3, and then again by about 4 or 5 a.m. it is out of here, and it gets quite chilly back behind it. So those are 2 rounds of severe weather we are keeping a close eye on. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, of course just south of Pittsburgh, and our camera at 7th and range line looks all right as well. We've got clear skies, 59. South-southeast breeze at 11, gusting to 22, and wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles an hour are going to be common today. Not as bad as it was over the weekend, but still breezy. 55 in Iola, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, 58 Chanute, 57 Neodesha Parsons, 58 Chitopa, 60 in Miami, 57 in Neosho, and 58 in Carthage. Now, as we get our day started, we're going to be, again, breezy, partly cloudy. Not too bad otherwise. Temperatures pushing near 70 by late morning. We head into this afternoon. We're talking high temperatures, roughly 20 degrees above where they should be for this time of year. 83 expected high, so lower 80s across the area. Still breezy, mostly clear skies as we head into the afternoon, and clear skies as we head into this evening. And we are slow to cool. We're expected to eventually make it back to the lower 60s, but you can see, look at this, 10 o'clock, still near 70 degrees across the area. Let's take a look at the rest of the week, shall we? We got plenty of stuff to talk about. A little calmer, though. Tomorrow, again, severe thunderstorm chances. Another very warm day. Temperatures pushing the lower 80s once again. And then we head past this. We get down to 44. Some of us, as you saw in the future track, could be a little cooler than that. We're chillier for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as we get back into the upper 50s, lower 60s. As we head into the Easter weekend, we're looking to be back into the mid-60s. And as we head into next week, we're watching more thunderstorm chances. As we head into Monday, highs near 70. That's a brief cool down to the lower 60s before temperatures begin to return back to near 70 degrees by midweek. So again, the biggest thing that we're keeping an eye on is our Tuesday storm threat. There's still a lot to hammer down over the next roughly 24 hours or so, but it is something you need to watch closely. Just make sure you're keeping it here to KOAM. Make sure you have the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get weather alerts, everything you need to know wherever you are, whenever you are. And again, we'll continue to watch this situation as it develops for us tomorrow. That's a check of your forecast. We will be back with more after this. But first, here's a look inside the A.B. McConnell Sol Newman House. Another fun fact about this house, it was built in the Queen Anne style, and unlike other houses in this style, McConnell preferred classic styles to gingerbread ornamentation. We'll be right back.
Well, some elementary school kids in West Virginia are learning how to go after the big story. They're starting up the school newscast again after a long pause. Clayton McChesney has the story.
Athens Elementary School has their very own news studio. They got their start in 2018, but just started back again following a break due to COVID. They cover local, national, and world news, and even do sports and weather. These student journalists also do fun segments like Joke of the Week, Interesting Fact, and Kindness Report.
It looks for people that do kind things, and then when I see it, I get a press pass and I go get them and I interview them.
The library and technology specialist at the school guides the students. He says working on the news helps the kids learn and grow.
But I think at first they were a little shy. Actually, I know they were, and they were a little scared, but the more we do it, the more they've come out of their shell, and they have a lot of fun with it.
It really makes you come out of your shell because you're in front of a camera and you're talking to the whole school. So that really helps if you have like social anxiety.
Whether behind or in front of the camera, the kids say they're having fun.
Remember to be kind because you never know when you'll be on the news.
Pretty good, kids. Well, the kids use YouTube to stream their broadcast. We will be right back. But first, here's another live look inside the A.B. McConnell Sol Newman House. Another fun fact about this house, not only was Mr. Newman a significant member of Joplin's Hebrew congregation, his mercantile store was restored in 2004 and is now on the National Register of Historic Places. Well, the Brookfield Zoo in Illinois is celebrating some new arrivals. This baby squirrel monkey was born earlier this month, and you can see it's already firmly attached to its mama. Mama Gizmo is a natural at wrangling the crew. This is her 6th kid. You go, girl. The infant will spend between 5 and 10 weeks riding on mom's back before venturing off to explore its own. For now, mom is also the food source. After it weans around 4 to 6 months, it will move on to a diet of seeds, insects, small lizards, and bird eggs. Spider monkeys are native to the tropical forest of South America. I think that meant squirrel monkeys. But their population has been declining and they're not yet endangered. Now, this little one is not the only new arrival at the zoo. The zoo also recently welcomed 2 cotton-top tamarin monkeys, 12-year-old Sebastian and his mate, 8-year-old Cassidy. A frisky giant panda is shown doing water yoga, while enjoying her bath exhilaration in a pool in a video recently released. In the footage, the fluffy sunbather, Duban, is stretching herself and splashing around during her playful yoga practice in the pool, moving her body for amusement. The footage was captured on the iPanda multimedia platform. Oh, check that out. She's loving it. Oh, that's so sweet. This camera, or this platform, provides round-the-clock live broadcast of the daily life and activities of pandas in the nature reserves of Southwest China. She is loving that bath, that's for sure. And this is definitely not a panda. Scientists say the scary Tyrannosaurus Rex you picture from the movies like Jurassic Park may be missing an important feature. A new study published in the journal Science suggests predatory dinosaurs like the T-Rex may have had lips that covered their teeth. An international team of researchers examined the tooth structure and other features of the reptile group. They found that dinosaurs' mouths resemble that of lizards instead of crocodiles. That means they believe the prehistoric predators had scaly lizard-like lips covering and sealing their mouths. Scientists say the lips most likely did not have muscles, so the animals could not curl their lips or snarl. Their findings go against most modern depiction of the T-Rex and Velociraptor, which tend to show the animals with visible upper teeth that hang over their lower jaws. Interesting. Takes away the scariness of them. Vogue Philippines unveils its latest cover star, and incredibly, she is 106 years old. Apo Wang Odi is a tattoo artist from the mountain village of Buscalan in the Kalinga province of the Philippines, also known as Maria Oge. She's been perfecting the art of hand-dipping tattoos since she was a teenager. After she was taught by her father, she was considered the Philippines' oldest mambabotak, or traditional Kalinga tattooist. International visitors now make up most of her clientele. Wang Odi says she's training her grandnieces to keep the tradition alive. The centenarian is the oldest person ever to appear on a Vogue cover. Vogue Philippines says she represents what is beautiful about the Filipino culture, and she looks great at 106.
We've got a great day for us today. Wind gusts 20-30 miles an hour. Partly cloudy start for us. Near 70 by late morning as we head into this afternoon. Well above average. Highs pushing lower 80s. Still breezy. Mostly clear skies. Mostly clear heading into this evening. Still a mild night. 68 by 10. 61 for our overnight low. Watching the possibility of maybe 2 rounds of severe weather Tuesday. Keeping a close eye on that. 82. Cooler after that. 50s, 60s by the end of the week, and mid-60s by the weekend. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, first responders rush to battle a Sunday night house fire in Joplin, the second for the house in less than 2 months.
We've got ourselves a mild start today. We are going to be very warm, very above average, but we're also tracking some thunderstorm chances tomorrow. We'll talk about all of it coming up.
And some Pitt State students work like gorillas to benefit the city through the annual community cleanup event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Coming up on 6:01 on this Monday morning. Nobody likes Mondays, but as we were talking about earlier, it's always nice to be positive, be encouraging. It's going to be a great Monday, and honestly, even in the weather department, it's going to be a great Monday. Tuesday, on the other hand, not looking so fantastic. We do have the possibility of a stray storm, perhaps 2, in the area today, but I really don't think that's going to happen. We're going to be pretty decent for us for today. It's tomorrow. We have an elevated risk for severe storms in the yellow shaded area. We even get an enhanced risk area clipping the southeastern portion of our viewing area. So here's what we're looking at for tomorrow. We're looking at the possibility of 2 separate rounds of severe weather. Round 1 is expected to come into play between about 2 and 5, and that's where we could see the development of some supercells. Now, the overall confidence on round 1 is low, but we do have the belief it will develop. Now, with supercells, though, they'll be scattered. Not everybody will see storms. However, supercells also have that possibility of bringing the large hail, the damaging wind, and that possibility of tornadoes, and that is a possibility as we head into tomorrow. This isn't to scare anybody. It is simply saying that all severe hazards are possible with any storms we see tomorrow. So again, round 1 comes in between about 2 and 5. Those should be scattered storms at best. Once that clears out, take a look at these temperatures, still quite mild. What we're more confident about is a squall line developing late tomorrow night off to our west and rolling through between about 11 and 4 a.m. And all severe hazards will be possible with that squall line, but the biggest threats would be damaging wind and some large hail. Let's skip just right into a quick look at temperatures across the area. 60 Joplin, 57 Pittsburgh, 59 Chitopa, 61 Miami, and 58 in the ocean. As we get our day started, wind gusts today, 20-30 miles an hour are likely. Partly cloudy skies to start, near 70 by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, about 20 degrees above average. Lower 80s for highs, mostly clear skies, and staying breezy. We'll take another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes and take a look at those thunderstorm chances again as well. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a 2-vehicle crash in Greene County takes a life over the weekend. The crash occurred Saturday night just after 10 on Route H near Farm Road, 6 miles north of Springfield. Authorities say a 2006 GMC Sierra and a 2011 Ford Edge struck each other head on. The driver of the Ford Edge, John Smith of Pleasant Hope, Missouri, was pronounced deceased at Mercy Hospital. A vacant house in Joplin goes up in flames for a second time. Just before 6:45 Sunday night, reports of flames visible from a residence at 1309 South Jackson alerted Joplin Emergency 911. Authorities say no one was located inside the structure. This is the second time in the last couple of months this particular house has burned. For more on this fire or the first fire at the residence, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a shooting at a southwest Oklahoma City bar kills 3 people and injures 3 others. Oklahoma City police said 3 people were killed on the scene off of Newcastle Road. Another victim was transported to a hospital in critical condition. 2 others were taken with non-life-threatening injuries. After originally reporting a person in custody, Oklahoma City police now say that no one is in custody and authorities are searching for a suspect.
When they arrived here, they found 3 victims inside the bar that were shot. Those 3 victims were pronounced dead here at the scene. Another victim was transported to a hospital in critical condition, and 2 others were transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening wounds.
Police say they have no suspect information at this time. Today, former President Donald Trump is expected to fly from Florida to New York, where he is set to become the first former president to face criminal charges. We're learning more about how Trump will surrender to authorities in New York. Jared Hill has more.
A handful of supporters of former President Donald Trump gathered outside his estate in Florida as he prepares to fly to New York to be arraigned on criminal charges.
We will very loudly and proudly say not guilty.
The indictment is still sealed, but a source tells CBS News former President Trump will likely be charged with falsifying business records in the first degree. It's a felony stemming from alleged hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. Trump denies any wrongdoing. New York remains on high alert after former President Trump's calls for protest. Meanwhile, we're learning more about what will likely happen when he arrives here at criminal court tomorrow. 2 law enforcement sources tell CBS News Trump is likely to fly into New York's LaGuardia Airport today on his private plane. He's expected at the courthouse on Tuesday, where charges will be read aloud, all under the protection of Secret Service.
He will be given a booking number. At the time that he receives that booking number, he is officially, quote unquote, under arrest.
As the legal battle plays out, political shockwaves. Sunday, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, a Republican, announced he plans to run for president in 2024 and says Trump should drop out.
For the sake of the office of the presidency, I do think that's too much of a sideshow and distraction.
But most Republicans, including other possible opponents, are offering Trump their support. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Former president is expecting a quick trip to New York. Trump already announced he will be making public remarks on this from his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida Tuesday night. Well, don't forget, Jasper County elections take place Tuesday, and you can download the KOAM, actually Missouri elections all over take place Tuesday. You can download the KOAM News app for all your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information at KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. The website will include resources for all the 4 state areas, such as polling places, deadlines, dates, and you can even check to see if you're registered to vote. Once again, that's KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, country's biggest night kicks up its heels in Austin, Texas, and we take a complete look at all of the winners, losers, and big moments this year's CMT Awards. Plus, while thousands of men, women, and children wait for an organ donation, we're going to introduce you to one family that received the gift of life for their little girl. And Chris takes another look at your Monday forecast and when we can expect storm chances to rear their ugly head here in the 4-state area. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning will be. But first, here's a live look inside the A.B. McConnell Soul Newman House as we take you on a tour of historic homes throughout the morning. Topping Nation Watch this morning, at least 32 people are dead as brutal storms move across the U.S. President Joe Biden is pledging help from the federal government, while forecasters are warning the severe weather is not over yet. Now, this video shows hail falling near Dallas. That same storm system pushed through Louisiana. At least 5 people are dead after a twister hit Arkansas over the weekend. And just across the state line, Tennessee reports at least 15 deaths, with 1 in Alabama and another in Mississippi. At least 25 freight train cars derailed Sunday morning in Montana. Authorities say the train derailed on the banks of the Clark Fork River in Sanders County, about 200 miles northwest of Bozeman. A county sheriff's office dispatcher said there did not appear to be any hazardous materials on board, and there have not been any injuries reported. LSU is on top of the college women's basketball world. The Lady Tigers beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 102-85 in the championship game on Sunday. Fans in Baton Rouge, Louisiana were loving it. They came out to cheer their team on to victory. The game was played in Dallas. The Tigers scored more points than any other women's team during the championship game. Jasmine Carter led the LSU team with 22 points. She was one of 5 Tigers to score in the double figures. Well, the CMT Music Awards were handed out for the first time in Austin, Texas last night. Country fans decided on the awards, which were broadcast on CBS and streamed live on Paramount Plus. Nicole Nielsen has more on the night's festivities.
3 awards in one night!
Jelly Roll came out on top at the 2023 CMT Music Awards, sweeping the 3 categories for which he was nominated, including Male Video of the Year.
Here we are, man. It's just unreal. It's a testament to the fans, right?
I just want to say thank you to the fans that voted.
Kane and Caitlin Brown won Video of the Year. Cody Johnson took the prize for Performance of the Year, and Lainey Wilson won for Female Video of the Year.
If this is Austin, I still love you.
Blake Shelton gave the first performance of the night with his hit, Nobody.
Nobody but yours.
Carrie Underwood took the stage to sing Hate My Heart.
Out of my head.
And Winona Judd and Ashley McBride paid tribute to the late Naomi Judd, coming together for a version of Foreigner's I Want to Know What Love Is.
I want to know what love is.
Shania Twain received the CMT Equal Pay Award for her contributions to highlighting diverse and underrepresented voices in country music.
Man, I feel like a woman has been adopted by an array of fantastic communities all around the world.
The award started on a serious note, with co-host Kelsey Ballerini honoring the lives of those killed in the Nashville school shooting last month, including 3 children.
I pray deeply that the closeness and the community that we feel through the next few hours of music can soon turn into action, like real action.
The final performance of the night was a star-studded tribute to the late Lynyrd Skynyrd guitarist Gary Rossington, bringing this Texas crowd to their feet. Nicole Nielsen, CBS News, Austin.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves another well above average day today, breezy conditions. But we're also tracking the possibility of some severe storms as we head into our Tuesday. We're going to take a look at all that when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've got an isolated storm chance or 2 possible today. In all honesty, I don't think really anything's going to happen, but it is highlighted. Could see a pop-up storm or 2. Shouldn't be really much of anything. It is tomorrow that we are keeping a close eye on. We already have an elevated risk for all of the counties here in yellow, which is a good chunk of the area. And then in our southeastern corner of our viewing area, there's even an enhanced risk out there. Now, we've been talking about Tuesday for the last several days. It is a system that we have been watching closely. It is one that the computer models have been watching closely, and it has continued to evolve, and there have not been that many significant changes other than refining exactly what we're looking at as we head into Tuesday. So Tuesday looks to be the possibility of 2 separate rounds of severe weather. Now, the first round, there's lower confidence in the first round happening, but it's still expected, and we're keeping a very close eye on it. Between 2 and 5 p.m., we're looking at the possibility of some supercells developing. And if we do see these supercells develop, all severe hazards would be possible. And of course, supercells means a couple of things. One, they'll be scattered, so not everybody would see a storm in the afternoon and early evening hours. However, anybody that does, all severe hazards would be possible. These storms could be a little bit on the nasty side. That possibility exists in these green areas here between 2 and 5. Now again, this is not guaranteeing that we're going to see a supercell in these exact spots. This is simply showing that these are some areas that have a higher possibility of seeing some storms develop. Once we get past 5, that clears out. We stay quite warm, still in the 80s. Here we are at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, still in the lower 70s across most of the area, which means that severe threat's not done because that cold front hasn't pushed through. What is looking to be more probable is there's higher confidence in this is the development of a squall line out to our west late tomorrow night. This would still have the possibility of all modes of severe weather. However, winds and hail would be the biggest risk. This is about 11 o'clock, and you can see this squall line gets itself together and begins to roll into our area. By about 4 a.m. Wednesday, it's out of here, and temperatures drop pretty decently back behind it. So this is it rolling through. Here we are at 1 a.m. as it continues to move through southeast Kansas, moves into southwest Missouri, and then again by about 4 o'clock or so on Wednesday morning, it's gone. It is out of here. So these are two things that we're watching very closely. You need to be watching very closely, and of course we'll keep you updated through today and into tomorrow ahead of these storms. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line. Looks good so far. Same with the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera at 7th and range line. We've got a TV over here that it's fed into that's got a slightly brighter, maybe a higher contrast. You can see a few clouds on it. So now we are reporting mostly cloudy skies in Joplin. 60 south breeze at 14. Across the area, looks like this: 55 Iola, 54 Fort Scott, 59 Chitopa, 61 in Miami, and 58 Neosho, 59 in Carthage. As we get our day started, while those partly cloudy skies near 70 by late morning, wind gusts today 20 to 30 miles an hour will be common. Very warm, 20 degrees above average. As we head into the lower 80s, we'll start to see clearing skies. We hold on to mostly clear skies this evening. Temperatures don't drop off that quickly, down to 68 by 10, 61 for our overnight low. 82 tomorrow, so another very warm day, but after that, that cold front kicks us down a bit. Upper 50s, lower 60s to wrap up the week, and as we head into the weekend, we start to see temperatures returning to the mid-60s. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, new evidence shows moderate drinking is not good for your health. Sweeping analysis of millions of health records punches a hole in the theory that daily dose of alcohol protects against death from heart disease. Study finds drinking even low levels of alcohol, 1 ounce a day for women or 1.5 ounces for men, increases the risk of early death. Well, researchers investigate a new approach to preventing a common cause of vision loss in older adults. A study from the National Eye Institute identified rare genetic variants could be linked to age-related macular degeneration. Discovery could lead to new ways of targeting and treating vision loss. And a study in the journal Pediatrics points to some of the factors contributing to children's mental health. Researchers found infants living with socioeconomic disadvantages were nearly twice as likely to experience mental health symptoms by the age of 10 or 11. Disadvantaged children were also more likely to have a parent in psychological distress and less likely to attend preschool. April is National Donate Life Month. More than 100,000 men, women, and children are currently on the national transplant waiting list. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield introduces us to a family that received the life-saving gift of a heart for their little girl.
In March 2020, mom Laura Gazzola noticed something with her daughter Bianca wasn't right.
I remember sitting there or standing there with the other parents and going, the other kids don't have blue lips like Bianca does.
Bianca also couldn't kick colds or illnesses as quickly as her siblings. In 2021, the Minnesota family was referred to the Mayo Clinic. Bianca was diagnosed with restrictive cardiomyopathy, an extremely rare condition that won't allow the heart muscle to relax normally.
Kids with that type of heart problem develop heart failure and can develop what's called pulmonary hypertension or high pressures in their lungs.
A new heart was her only hope. But the pressure readings in Bianca's chest were so high, she was too sick to be considered for a transplant.
I felt my jaw just just drop at how bad it was.
Doctors implanted a pump called a biventricular assist device to get Bianca's body healthy enough for transplant surgery. She spent 6 months at the clinic until finally, last fall, the Gazzola family got the call. A heart was available.
Best day of our lives. But then that was the worst day for a family 50 feet away.
Bianca's surgery was a success, and she made it home just in time for Christmas.
We can't thank that family enough for, in the hardest time, choosing life and choosing to donate their child's organs, because they saved our daughter's life.
Now 4 years old, Bianca returns to the Mayo Clinic about once a month to check on her new heart. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, CBS News, Savage, Minnesota.
The next goal for Bianca is to keep building up her resistance so she can start preschool in the fall. That'd be awesome. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, we've been talking about tomorrow's storm chances, but we also want to talk about today. We still have a Monday to get through. We are looking at partly cloudy skies through our early morning, temperatures into the near 70 rather by late morning, and we're also looking at wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles an hour. And as we go into today, we're about 20 degrees above normal. Not that too many people are complaining as of yet. Temperatures going into the lower 80s. We'll also start to see clearing skies across the area, remaining breezy. Winds will let up a bit this evening, and we are slow to cool. Check out these temperatures, 82 at 6, 73 at 8, still near 70 by 10 o'clock tonight, but we will eventually make it back down to 61 for our overnight low under clear skies. We do have the 2 possible rounds of severe storms on Tuesday we're keeping a close eye on. Otherwise, another very warm day, 82 for the high. That cold front, once it rolls through, cools us down. We're talking the 50s Wednesday and Thursday, near 60 Friday, and a little bit warmer into the mid-60s as we head into Easter weekend. We're watching more storm chances on Monday, near 70, and then we have a brief cool down before we return to near 70 by Wednesday. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, school is in session, and in this classroom at Labette County Community College, the students learn what it takes to be a firefighter.
We've got ourselves a mild and breezy day ahead of us with very warm temperatures and storm chances tomorrow. We're going to take a look at all of that coming up.
And speaking of learning, teen students at the Higher Power Garage get an educational tune-up in auto maintenance.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a very mild start for us across the area again. But I mean, folks in the 4 states know what this weather signals. When it gets abnormally warm and things just aren't right, the wind is blowing, you know that that wind is blowing something in. And it is indeed blowing in some changes for our weather and even some severe thunderstorm chances as we head into tomorrow. Now, the first map for today does paint a general isolated thunderstorm risk. I think, honestly, any thunderstorm activity today is going to stay away from us, but there is that possibility of a stray storm or two. Nothing too crazy. It is Tuesday, where we have the elevated risk for the counties in yellow, so a good chunk of our area. We've even mentioned that enhanced risk just clipping the southeastern corner of our area. So let's break down what is expected to happen tomorrow. We're looking at 2 possible rounds of severe weather. The first round would come between about 2 and 5 p.m. tomorrow, when we could see some supercell thunderstorms develop, so some scattered storms. These would be possible or could possibly produce all severe hazards, and this would be a better opportunity for stronger severe storms as we head into tomorrow afternoon. But confidence on that isn't all that great. It's a little shaky on whether or not those storms will actually develop. What we are looking fairly confident about is a squall line late tomorrow night that'll roll through the area between about 11 and 4 a.m., so late Tuesday into very early Wednesday morning. That squall line could produce all severe hazards, but the greatest risk with it would be strong damaging wind gusts and large hail. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. Same with the KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh. Let's look at temperatures overall for right now. We've got 60 Joplin, 57 Pittsburgh, Lamar, 55 Fort Scott, and 61 in Miami. As we get our day started, winds gusting 20, 30 miles an hour through today will be common. Partly cloudy skies near 70 by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, staying breezy. Temperatures 20 degrees above average, pushing into the lower lower 80s, and we'll start to see some clearing skies as we head into the afternoon. We'll take another look at that forecast and discuss those storm chances here in just a little bit. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Labette Community College hosts its annual fire school. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more.
It's always been a passion for me, and once I got into it, I found out just how much I loved it.
Ethan Day is just one of almost 200 volunteer and full-time firefighters attending Labette Community College Fire School.
We're trying to cover a lot of the disciplines that these firefighters deal with. Everybody from careers in major cities here to volunteers on, staffing of less than 10 on the whole department.
Firefighters from Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Michigan, and Texas are not only learning in the classroom, they are offered hands-on training such as live burns, live grass fires, vehicle extractions, and much more.
They teach us a lot of things that we don't get a whole lot of training from just because of funding and things, bringing it to our area, and it's really an incredible thing that they're doing.
It's personal. This is my hometown, grew up here, got my very first start, just got on the department all of a couple weeks before this school started, so this is where everything started for me. The volunteer service is kind of the pipeline for career departments, and that's something we should encourage, push for, and should be excited about.
In Parsons.
This was the 40th year for the event. The Higher Power Garage in Joplin held a teen auto maintenance class. The local garage teaches teenagers how to properly maintain their vehicles and why it is important to do so. Teenagers also have the opportunity to learn how to change a tire and what to do in an emergency situation.
We really seen a need that, buying a car is the second biggest investment you make in your life. And, the price of cars nowadays is kind of staggering. We want to make sure we get the very most out of them.
The garage hosts the event once a month. On Sunday, the J.L. Hutch Baseball League hit the field to host the Baseball Skills Day for local kids at Pittsburgh Middle School. The little leaguers that attended the Skills Day learned baseball fundamentals from the coaching staff, and the league aims to develop baseball skills as well as sportsmanship, competitiveness, and fair play.
They all come back and want to play next year. The best thing that I can hear out in our community is when people see me or some of the other coaches is when they say, little Jimmy had so much fun last year, he cannot wait to play baseball the next year. And that's what we try to do with all of our coaches, and we try to get that into all of the kids, that they're just having so much fun.
Opening day for the league will be Saturday, April 29th. Women from around the 4 states struck the lanes competing in the 17th annual Moose BC Women's Tournament at Carl Richards 4th Street Bowl. Nearly 300 teams competed in this year's tournament. 4th Street Bowl also hosted the doubles and singles competitions for this year's tournament.
I like to think of this tournament, because we don't have a lot of really high average bowlers that bowl in it, as a place to come for a weekend and just have a good time.
Tournament play wrapped up on Sunday. Well, this morning we're discussing being kind to not only others, but yourself as well.
In the midst of the everyday, Keely Lotz, a 6th grader at Vista del Sur in Accelerated Academy in Phoenix, wanted color and inspiration. Keely, as part of a service project and an ambassador for the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, was searching for the right words alongside the art club students that could make a difference, painting them on the walls and on bathroom stalls.
Hoping to help with prevention, Keely had lost her friend Kalia to suicide. Now, it's had an impact, and even the principal has noticed, saying that it's helping change the voice students hear in their heads every day.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How have you been kind to someone or maybe yourself recently? You've got a number of choices. 12% of you say you've encouraged someone. 25% of you say that you sent someone a kind note. 12% of you said you did something kind. 25% of you say you did many of these things, and another 25% of you say you haven't done any of those things. So do make sure that you take time to be kind to yourself and to others, and that you take an opportunity to vote in our poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, through our app and, of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
That sounds like a plan. All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. The clock strikes midnight for about 15 million Medicaid recipients. We tell you why.
And we're continuing to track another nice warm day for us today, and thunderstorms on the way tomorrow. We'll take a look at all of that coming up. But first, here's a live look inside the A.B. McConnell Sol Newman House in Joplin.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Saturday marked the end of Medicaid for about 15 million recipients. About 1 in 6 of those who received the government health insurance lost their coverage on April 1st. And that's because states once again started checking eligibility of everyone on Medicaid following COVID. Now, some now make too much to qualify for the program, while others may have relocated. Major League Baseball owners are expected to vote this week on a collective bargaining agreement for minor league players. Players and league officials signed off on their first collective bargaining agreement for minor leaguers on Wednesday. The 5-year deal raises players' salaries by tens of thousands of dollars and enables them to be paid during the off-season. Well, the WWE may soon be under new ownership. CNBC first reported the potential multi-billion-dollar deal that will merge Vince McMahon's WWE with Endeavor's UFC. McMahon returned to the company in January after retiring last year amid a misconduct investigation. Well, Dungeness crab season is being cut short again this year by California's Department of Fish and Wildlife. It's meant to protect the humpback whales. Some fishermen say the order hurts them and their customers. Lena Howland reports.
In an already challenging industry, fisherman Zachary Hassan believes it may be on its last legs.
Oh, it's dying. It's been dying for a long time, for sure.
Where the Dungeness crab season was delayed 4 times on the front end late last year, cutting out holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, Hassan wasn't able to open until January 1st of this year.
It kind of keeps you on a hamster wheel a little bit.
But the State Department of Fish and Wildlife announced Thursday they're cutting the season short by nearly a month, ending on April 15th, to protect humpback whales from getting tangled in trap and buoy lines.
The weather is worse, and the amount of time we have to go fish before the crabs go on the clutch is shortened. And kind of in the end, the guys that get the biggest hit are the guys like me with little boats.
And Hassan says because of this, he worries his team won't see any profits from this year's spring bite, which is expected to be nearing its peak by mid-April.
But then when you get that cut off, it's kind of like, why did I waste all that time and money?
Here at Pillar Point Harbor in Half Moon Bay, fishermen tell me because of the now shortened season, that means less supply. And that also means that cost will be passed on to the consumer.
It's shorter time for the crab for us, right?
And we found people rushing to Half Moon Bay to get their fresh catches while they still can.
I'm really sorry because those people, that's their whole fleet. That's what they live off of for the entire year.
And it's sad. It's sad. We're probably going to come back next weekend, because it ends on the 15th, on April 15th. So we'll come back and get a couple more of these guys.
And fishermen like Hassan say come April 15th, he'll be unemployed for 7 months without much money to show for it.
It's going to be a shoestring budget for the rest of the year, for sure.
All right, that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, quick check of today. We've got those partly cloudy skies, winds gusting 20, 30 miles an hour. We'll be near 70 by late morning, so not a bad start to the day. So we head into the afternoon. We're looking at mostly clear skies, still breezy and very abnormally warm. Temperatures pushing into the lower 80s today. So that puts us about 20 degrees above where we're supposed to be. In fact, our average highs are supposed to be a lot closer to what our low is supposed to be tonight. We are slow to cool, though. Take a look. Winds do calm down. We remain clear. Still 68 by 10 o'clock, and we will eventually make it down to 61 for our overnight low. We are watching the possibility of a couple of rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms for us on Tuesday, something to keep a close eye on. And of course, we're keeping a close eye on, so stay right here with KOAM. We're still warm though, too. Look at that, lower 80s again on Tuesday, but the cold front that's going to cause all of this, once it rolls through, we drop down to 44 for that low, into the 30s for Wednesday and Thursday night as temperatures drop back significantly. We're talking upper 50s, about 60 degrees by Friday. However, as we head into Easter weekend, looking better. Temperatures into the mid-60s. Let's check out the forecast for what's coming up. And we don't want to be the bearer of bad news by telling you it's Monday, even though we've had to remind you a couple of times, but we do want to be the bearer of good news by telling you that birthdays and anniversaries are just around the corner. We'll bring them to you in just a few minutes, but first, let's check in with CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Dana Jacobson talks with Jim Nance as the legendary CBS sports announcer prepares to call his last Final Four. Oh no, say it isn't so. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to head out west and start in Chautauqua with Talon Midget celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday, Talon.
All right, happy birthday, Talon, and happy birthday to Aiden Sisney, who is now 16 years old, and Gerard with love from Mom, Dad, Evan, Marley, and Quinn, and Jima and Jeepa Hansen, and Jima and Jeepa Pretty Men.
We've also got a birthday for LJ, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you.
LJ must be a Doug Hetty fan there, I see. Like it. And we've got Brittany Queen, turning 33 years old this year in Parsons. Happy birthday. We love you from Mom, Dad, and family.
And we've got Jess Ryan celebrating birthday number 43 with a catch of the day over in Crestline. And this comes with love from your wife. Jess, happy birthday.
That is an impressive catch. And John Ward celebrating birthday number... Did I skip one?
You
I'm
did.
Sorry.
That happened on Friday, too. Getting too excited about these birthdays.
Jeff Clark, 54, in Columbus. I'm so sorry about that. Hope you have a great birthday, Jeff.
No problem. And now we've got John Ward there celebrating birthday number 56 in Erie. Happy birthday, John.
All right. And Connie Griffith celebrating birthday number 78 in Chanute.
And we've got Barbara Schmidt in Fort Scott celebrating birthday number 80. Happy birthday to you, Barbara.
Vernie Broyles celebrating number 83 in Neosho.
And we've got John and Joyce Bates celebrating an anniversary in Arma. Happy anniversary to the Bates.
Lawrence Burke turning double sixes in Joplin this year.
And last but certainly not least, Ryder Lehman celebrating birthday number 12. Very happy birthday and anniversary to everybody on our list. And we want to continue to celebrate. Tanya, what do they need to do to celebrate with us?
All they have to do is send us those birthdays. Send them to this email. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Don't forget the S, birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com. And make sure you attach the picture and include all the information, especially the birth date.
Yeah, that is one of the most essential pieces of information. And while you're on our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some great deals from local businesses, and you also get a happy birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you take time, sign up for that KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, we've got a lot to talk about. There is a possibility of a stray storm, maybe 2 today, across the area. I think, honestly, that chance is extraordinarily low, not very likely to happen, but it is a remote possibility. It is Tuesday that we are keeping an eye on. We've been talking about Tuesday since our severe thunderstorm chances last week. We've been talking about Tuesday. Now we're almost there. Got an elevated risk in the yellow. That's a good chunk of our area as we head into tomorrow, and the enhanced risk even clipping our southeastern counties, or the southeastern part of our area as well. Here's what the current thinking is. It's looking like there's 2 probable events that are going to take place as we head into our Tuesday. The first of those is going to be roughly between 2 and 5 p.m. This one, the confidence is a little lower. It's going to be a matter of whether or not these storms actually form. But if they do, we're looking at the possibility of some supercell thunderstorms out there. Those would, of course, have all severe hazards possible, and that's where our best opportunity for strong to severe thunderstorms would be initially, is between 2 and 5, if we do see these supercells develop. The other round will come later Tuesday night and into early Wednesday morning. And there's higher confidence of this happening, of a squall line developing out to the west, rolling east into our area between 11 and 4. So 11 p.m. Tuesday, 4 a.m. Wednesday. This still would have all severe hazards possible, but the biggest threat with it would be strong winds and large hail. And again, by about 4 o'clock, it is out of here. And that's where that cold front comes into play, because behind that, our temperatures drop significantly. As for today, we're looking at winds gusting 20, 30 miles an hour, well above average, lower 80s for highs. Lower 80s again tomorrow with those thunderstorm chances and breezy. Cooler after this, 50s, 60 by Friday. And as we head into our Easter weekend, looking a little bit better, temperatures into the mid-60s. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're taking you to a Peeps show. Every year around Easter, Peeps, those super sweet marshmallow treats you either love or hate, start making their seasonal appearance. But for a group of artists in Maryland, Peeps have become the perfect vehicle to express their inner artist. And those sweet works of art are on full display in the 16th annual Peeps show. You're going to want to sink your teeth into this super sweet story when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Two-vehicle crash in Greene County takes a life over the weekend. The crash happened Saturday night just after 10 on Route H near Farm Road, 6 miles north of Springfield. Authorities say a 2006 GMC Sierra and a 2011 Ford Edge struck each other head-on. The driver of the Ford Edge, John Smith of Pleasant Hope, Missouri, was pronounced deceased at Mercy Hospital. Well, a vacant house in Joplin goes up in flames for a second time. Just before 6:45 Sunday night, reports of flames visible from a residence at 1309 South Jackson alerted Joplin 911. Authorities say no one was located inside the structure. This is the second time in the last couple of months that this particular house has burned. For more on this fire or the first fire at the residence, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, students at Pitt State helped out the community over the weekend. Pitt State's Student Government Association held its annual community cleanup. For the event, students cleaned up more than 50 homes. The cleanup included raking leaves, washing windows, and planting flowers. On Sunday, the J.L. Hutch Baseball League hosted its Baseball Skills Day for local kids at the Pittsburgh Middle School. Little leaguers who attended the Skills Day learned baseball fundamentals from the coaching staff. And the league aims to develop baseball skills as well as sportsmanship, competitiveness, and fair play. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And a check of that forecast as you head out the door. Well above average again today. Highs in the lower 80s. Winds gusting 20, 30 miles an hour under mostly clear skies. Winds will calm down a bit this evening, dropping back down to only 68 by 10, eventually reaching a low of 61. We're tracking the possibility of a couple of rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms for us on Tuesday afternoon and into the overnight hours, a high of 82. Cold front cools us down, 50s Wednesday, Thursday, 60 by Friday. And as we look into our Easter weekend, we start to warm back up a bit as temperatures head back into the mid-60s.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making lemony asparagus and radish salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. It's a country best known for its canal, but now Panama is getting into the coffee game, brewing up some of the world's best and most expensive cups. We'll get a taste coming up on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Chris Hicks and Aaron Schumann are in studio to tell us all about a playdate / program for your little ones called Mornings with Mommy.
Plus, Kavanaugh Studevin from the Carl Junction Chamber of Commerce stops by with the information on some upcoming events, such as the citywide garage sale, which you do not want to miss. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you and do it again today at noon.